It's amazing the journey. It's amazing the journey that you take in life. Just to be able to look back on it and just talk about it. If my father was here, I wouldn't be here. If my dad was alive, there's no chance I would have been on the PGA Tour. Absolutely none. It was just an opportunity that was from an unfortunate thing that happened to me, a tragedy that happened to me, but changed my life for the better. Beaudesert, Queensland, Australia. At the time when I was born, I think the population was about 3,000 people. I grew up on a farm. We raised cattle and we sheared sheep, so we were very poor. My dad and myself and my family would go to the rubbish tip, like just landfill, get furniture or stuff that we could use around the house. And we had a golf club one day when I was 3, and my dad gave it to me and I hit the ball. It was a tennis ball at the time, but I hit the ball with a 3-wood. It was a cut down 3-wood. And I hit it and he turned around to my mum and said, "This guy's going to be a champion one day." I loved the game, but I was kind of forced into it a little bit. My dad would take me down to the golf course every afternoon. Beaudesert Country Club, which is not a country club, it's country. And I would stay there from whenever I got off school to when it got dark, and that's what I did every single day. As a kid, I started out and I'm like, yeah, this is great. I'm playing golf and enjoying it. But then once I started winning bigger tournaments, that helped a lot. I got addicted to the process of getting better.
In 2000, Jason's father gets sick and everything changed. When he passed on, that connection got cut and he was so lost. That's when he started drinking. He went out of the rails. And it was hard for me to see him wasting his talent. And he couldn't care.
I walked in there and my dad was like, he wasn't alive. He was just laying there, still nothing, wasn't breathing anything. And I just remember sitting there watching him. And I couldn't say a word. What do you say, when you're 12 years old and you lose your dad? So it's too hard. That's when I started getting in trouble, started drinking a little bit, started getting fights. My sister ran away from home for 4 years. She was living on the streets. I don't know where she was. She'd come back and she was just, my mom was trying her hardest. And she was always the one, when we got disciplined, she was always the one to hold us. So it was hard for her to become that disciplinary person. We kind of went a little crazy, and that's when my mum decided to go, "You have a gift. What do you think about going to Coralvin?"
When my husband died, there was a little bit of money. I had to ask the girls if they can forgo their college. And what I did is I put Jason in Coralvin.
I'm amazed that Jason survived the system. When you lose a dad, your mum mortgages the house. Should be done. You're not going to succeed at sport. That's what happens. You just disappear into the tapestry of sport. You were like a kid that showed some talent. For him to find Colin at that time, for Colin to be the right guy, and for him to trust him. Some people get a lot of lifelines. He got one.
It's a life changer. The reason why I'm here is because of that guy. It's because of Cole. He's supported me ever since I was 12 years old, all the way through till I'm nearly 28 now.
The first time I sat down with Jason, I saw a kid that was genuinely hungry. he wanted it, and more importantly, he needed it. Not to let his sisters down, not to let his mum down, and to a certain degree, not to let his dad down. I think that was a motivator for him to be able to say, look, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. I've got to take this.
He threw himself, mind, body and soul into practice and wanting to be the best in the world from such a young age.
Jason came to me and he said, "You're waking up the earliest, I want to room with you." And he came and roomed with me, and we got up before everyone, and we were on that night range and the last ones to leave, and he did that for a lot longer than I did that.
I worked harder than everyone else in my golf academy, got up at 5 o'clock every morning, and I took pride in that just because I knew that I could outwork everyone else here, and they had no chance. Every time in my head, I would play this little visual. I'd walk onto the green and everyone would be going, "Oh, Jason's here, who's playing for second place?" And as time went on, as an amateur, I still had that. As a professional, you're playing against peers, you're playing against guys that are pros, you're playing against the best players in the world, and I kind of lost that.
I think he really struggled to feel that he'd earned the right to win early, where I thought he was good enough to compete.
He kind of gave up at tournaments, and he'd get a bad attitude, and he'd throw clubs, and you'd hear him cussing on the golf course, and then I don't know, from those next couple years were just a huge learning experience for him, I think, because he was used to winning all the time, and then came out and it was hard.
There's two ways to go about a career like this. You can go, okay, there's too much pressure. I'm on the border of doing something really good, really great right now. There's two ways of handling it. It's like, okay, I can just kind of jump on my horse and trot into the sunset and go on my merry way and be happy with where I'm at. And then there's the other way where you get up off your butt and you walk towards the fear, whether that's being number one in the world, whether that's going places and you getting recognized everywhere you go.
It was never really about signing contracts, making money. When we sat down that first day, it was about being the best player in the world. And that was his goal. I think Jason sets the bar high. He and Cole game plan to be the best.
In the zone, and he's unreachable, untouchable, unreal.
He has worked harder than I have ever seen him. I mean, he's committed more in every part of his life. He deserves everything that he's getting, so it's really cool to see everything pay off that he's worked hard for.
Sometimes I look back and say that it was a predetermined fate for Jason because he made it happen. He was so determined even when he was young. Doesn't matter whether you haven't got anything. If you have your dream and you learn to overcome all the hurdles, you can reach it.
Without golf, I wouldn't have the people I have in my life. I wouldn't have Colin, I wouldn't have Bud, I wouldn't have Ellie, I wouldn't have my son Dash. I get another one on the way. I wouldn't meet these people. And I owe it to not only to golf, but to them as well, to work as hard as I can.
People ask me all the time, what are you most proud of with Jace? And I say, he's a great dad, he's a great husband to Ellie, and it's those things that I'm most proud of. 12 years ago, he could have run off with his mates and got drunk every night. He could have easily taken that track.
There is a new #1 in golf, and for the first time, Jason Day is on top of the world.
There's no story to me. There's millions of us just trying to get to a certain point in life. All I want to do in life is just work as hard as I can. Try and win as much as I can before my time is over. And to really show people, young kids, adults, whoever, never say die. My dad used to always say, never say die.